Hola, ¿cómo estás? Welcome to episode 2 of the Intro to Spanish crash course. Episode 2 is all about Spanish nouns. Everywhere you look, there's a noun, like phone, computer, door, dog, and paper. This paper I'm holding is the free PDF packet that goes along with this video. Just click the link in the description to access the absolutely free PDF, and it will provide you with all the information I'm going over in this video, plus more examples and a practice section. Okay, let's get started. How about a quick definition? A noun is a person, place, or thing. Let's look at a few examples in English. As a side note, if you're naming a specific person like Aaron, that's my name, or Anna, or a specific place like the Grand Canyon, for example, those are proper nouns. In this lesson, we're talking about regular nouns. So to start, I think it's helpful to do a quick comparison between nouns in English and nouns in Spanish. First of all, how are they similar? Their core function. Both languages use nouns to name people, places, and things, serving as both subjects and objects in sentences. Pluralization rules. Both languages generally form plurals by adding s or es to the end of the noun. For example, cat, cats, gato, gatos. Shared roots. Many nouns are similar between English and Spanish. Now, key differences. Grammatical gender. Every Spanish noun is assigned a masculine or feminine gender, whereas English nouns are gender neutral unless referring to specific living beings. For example, actor, actress, or uncle, aunt. Adjective position. In English, descriptive adjectives normally come before the noun, like the red house. But in Spanish, they typically follow the noun, la casa roja. Okay, let's dive into the details of Spanish nouns. We have 3 main topics that we're going to cover. Number 1, gendered nouns. All Spanish nouns have gender. This is probably best demonstrated with some examples. Here we have a book and a cup. The Spanish word for book is libro, and the Spanish word for cup is taza. Can you guess which one is masculine and which one is feminine? Here's a clue. Libro is masculine and taza is feminine. So how do you know what nouns are masculine and what nouns are feminine? Well, you can usually tell by the ending of the word. Most Spanish nouns ending in O, L, N, and R are masculine, and most Spanish nouns ending in A, CION, SION, and DAD are feminine. I say most because there are exceptions to the rule, and I highlight a couple common ones in the PDF packet. The most common noun endings are O and A. Number 2, articles. Now, do these words look familiar? We use them with nouns all the time, right? For example, the book or a book. These words, the and a, are called articles. We can't learn about nouns without learning about their article partners. The is a definite article, and a and an are indefinite articles. Let's find out how they work in Spanish, starting with the article the. The is translated as either el or la, el being used with masculine nouns and la being used with feminine nouns, going back to our examples of book and cup or libro and taza. Because libro is a masculine noun, you would say el libro for the book and la taza for the cup. El libro, the book, la taza, the cup. When learning new Spanish nouns, I find it's helpful to learn them with their correct article in front of them, either el or la. This helps me remember the gender of the noun. Now we're going to talk about articles a and an. Instead of saying the book and the cup, now we want to say a book and a cup. In Spanish, we need to use the words un and una. Can you guess which one is masculine and which one is feminine? Un is masculine and una is feminine. Remember, libro is a masculine word, so a book translates to un libro. And taza is feminine, so a cup translates to una taza. And number 3, making nouns plural. In English, we say the books or the cups. Notice that the article the stays the same, and we just add an s to the end of book and cup to make them plural. The books, the cups. Well, in Spanish, the noun itself becomes plural, as well as the article in front of it. So using our example words, el libro becomes los libros, and la taza becomes las tazas. El becomes los, and la becomes las. And to make the noun plural, you add an s if it ends in a vowel, and an es if it ends in a consonant. Both libro and taza end in vowels, so we just added an s to make them plural. When making un and una plural, they become unos and unas. So un libro becomes unos libros, and una taza becomes unas tazas. These words unos and unas are often translated as some or a few, but when you see them before a number, it means about or approximately. If you download the PDF, it goes a little more into detail on that topic. So to wrap things up, here's a quick reference chart for the articles we just talked about, which is also in the Intro to Nouns packet, along with some practice exercises as I mentioned earlier. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you stick with this crash course, you're not just learning random stuff, you're building a foundation for fluency. So stay tuned for episode 3. Nos vemos!